Next thing you need to know is how to find the slope of the line. So you have to know this formula. Rise over run. Now another way you could do it is you could plot the points and kind of count rise over run, but you really should learn that formula. So it doesn't matter what you call 2 and 1. I'm going to line this up. So those are my x's, those are my y's. So I'm going to say 4 minus 5 over negative 2 minus 1. So this is going to be my x2 and y2. That's going to be my x1 and y1. Just as long as you keep it in the same order on top and bottom. So I've got a positive 1/3. Here I'm going to put them underneath each other. I'm going to subtract. A negative over negative is a positive again. That doesn't always happen. Just be careful of your signs. Here, line them up. 4 minus a negative 3 over 2 minus 2. So I have 7 over 0. That is undefined. And you would know that if the the x values are the same, that's going to give you a 0 in the denominator. That's going to give you a vertical line where your slope is undefined. So in like manner, what's going to happen when the y's are the same? Well, you're going to get negative 3 minus a negative 3, and that's going to be 0 over negative 3, which is 0. That's a horizontal line, but I'm just asked to find the slope, which is 0. These next two say to find the slope and y-intercept. I don't have any points. How do I do that? Well, I need to solve for y, because if I can get it in the form of y equals mx plus b, m is my slope, and that b is that y-intercept. So I need to solve for y, get y by itself. So I'm going to subtract 7x. I'm going to divide everything by negative 9. And if you wanted to rearrange it, just to make it look like y equals mx plus b, that might be better. So the coefficient of x, not the x, the coefficient, that's your slope. And your y-intercept is that negative 2. So here I'm going to subtract the 2x. I'm going to divide by 5. And again, if you wanted to, you could rearrange it. So my slope is the coefficient of x, and my y-intercept is that number. Now I need to find an equation. So I've got a couple of formulas I need. I need y equals mx plus b, because write your answer in slope-intercept form, that's that. But I also might need that point-slope formula. Alright, so let's see, number 84. I'm given m, and that is b, so I can just use that formula. Y equals mx plus b. Y equals 3 fixed x plus a negative 2. And I'm done. That's the easy one. But 85, I have a slope, but I have a point. So I have to use this formula. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So y minus negative 4 equals 3/2 times x minus 1. So I can write it y plus 4. But now I need to rearrange it. So you could distribute your 3/2 or get rid of the fractions. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to multiply everything by 2. Be careful, that 3 still gets distributed. I'm going to subtract the 8, and I'm going to divide everything by 2. Again, that's not the only way to do that. That's just the way I do it. I think it's a little bit easier to deal with those fractions. Now parallel and perpendicular. So I have to know that parallel uses the same slope. So I have a slope of 5/4 and the point 2, -3. So that same formula I just got through using. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. And dividing by 4. And I need to do one more little thing. I'm going to reduce, because 22 and 4 are both divisible by 2. On 87, I have to know, what about perpendicular? Do they have the same slope? No. So the slope of the given line is -3/5. If I want something perpendicular, I have to take the opposite reciprocal. So opposite in sign, and then take the reciprocal. So I take that information, and again using my point slope formula. Multiplying by that denominator, adding 12, and dividing by 3. So you've got to know those formulas, got to memorize them. The slope formula, the slope-intercept formula, and the point-slope formula. In this section, we want to solve the system of equations. It does not tell you what method, so you get to choose. You might want to choose the substitution method or the elimination method. On number 88, it looks like the substitution method would be the easiest. So I'm going to substitute 3y in here for x. So 5 times 3y minus 4y equals 33. Collecting like terms and dividing by 11. So I get y is equal to 3. But now I need to solve for x. So x equals 3 times y. So x is 9. So your answer, x is 9, y is 3. You should write it as an ordered pair. Number 89 also looks good for the substitution method. So I'm going to substitute in this for y. So distributing that 2, that's going to be a negative 6x. Collecting like terms, subtracting 24, and dividing by 3. So I get x is equal to 3. Don't stop. Come back to where you started with. So y equals -3. What is x? And I get y is equal to 3. So x is -3, y is +3. Again, writing your answer as an ordered pair. Now these next 4 look like the elimination method would be the easiest, so that's what I'm going to choose. And remember, you can choose which letter you want to eliminate. I'm going to choose to get rid of my x, so I'm going to multiply this equation times 2. I'm going to multiply this equation by -3, so these can become 6 and -6. So I get y, don't stop. Now you have to go and substitute in y either here or here. I'm going to do it at the top one, just a choice. And it so happens that x is also negative 2. So we have negative 2, negative 2 as our answer. On number 91, I think I'm going to choose to get rid of y because one's positive and one's negative. So I don't have to worry about that multiplying by a negative. So I'm going to multiply this one times 5, and I'm going to multiply this one times 2. Oops, that's going to be a negative, and then this is also negative. So that's negative 37x, that's 0, equals negative 111. And that just happens to go in there 3 times. Negative over negative is a positive. Again, then I need to get y, so I'm going to come back up to the top one. So negative 5 times the x I solved for. And I get y is 2. So my ordered pair is x is 3 and y is 2. Again, looks like the elimination method. I'm going to get rid of my x's. I just need to multiply this bottom one times 2. So I'm going to keep the top one, multiplying the bottom one. When I add it together, everything cancels. That's okay. I get a true statement. That means all the points on the line are the answer, or as in the directions say, if you have no solution, write inconsistent. If you have infinitely many solutions, you want to write the word dependent. Just checking the directions, it says if there are no solutions, write inconsistent. Infinitely many solutions, write dependent. So if you have a true statement, that's infinitely many solutions, so you'd want to write the word dependent. On number 93, I think I'll get rid of y, so I'm going to multiply this one times 2. So keeping my top equation, here's my bottom equation. Not the same thing happens because I get 2 on this side. I get 0 equals to 2. That's a false statement. So I would write inconsistent, meaning there was no solution. On these last two, we're asked to solve equations. Notice we have fractions, we also have variables in the denominator. So I'm going to find the least common denominator and multiply through by that to get rid of my fractions. So here my LCD is going to be 4x. So I'm just going to write this out where I have a little bit more room, and I'm going to multiply every term by my LCD, and then I'm going to reduce to get rid of my fractions. So let's see, what do I have left? 2 times 3 is 6, plus 4 equals to 3x. That's it. Pretty easy. What's your LCD here? It's going to be 16x. So again, I'm just going to space it out so I have a little bit more room to work. So multiplying every term by 16x, and then reducing to get rid of those fractions. Ooh, that is an x, so x divides out with x. So I have 6 plus 16 equals 11x. There you go. Good luck on your final exam.